Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Experts on Air for the Project Management Techniques for Development Professional class by the IDB. We will start in 5 minutes. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for participating in the second live session of Experts on Air for the Project Management Technique for Development Professional course by the Inter-American Development Bank and the IDB. My name is Gentil Senat. I'm going to be here with you today for this session of 45 minutes. And we have also in the background Menno Valkenburg, who will be supporting me. The first live session on air was done by Menno, and I'm doing the session with you today. I'm currently located in Haiti. I was born and raised in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince, and I have been working on IDB projects since 2011, and I've been collaborating with IDB as a trainer and as a project management instructor since 2015. So before we start, we will go through some statistics of the course. I'm pretty sure that you will love to have more information about the course, about the number of people attending, etc. So let's do this. So now the course has 10,051 registered participants, and the median age of the participants is 33 years old, and the participants range from 179 countries. The USA, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, hi Trinidad and Tobago, and Brazil, India, Colombia, Peru, the United Kingdom, and Haiti. Hi Haiti. So this week, in the Experts on Air link, where you could put the questions, this week we only had 3 questions. However, we choose to add to those questions some of your comments on the class, on the forum. So in total, we will have 7 questions. And after those 7 questions, you will be able to post some questions on the link that was provided to you, and we will be able to answer those questions live. So this week we had 2 modules. The first module was the scope management, the work breakdown structure, and the second module and the third module was the time management, critical path, and all the duration estimating activities. So we will take them one after each other, one module after each other. So let us start with the first question. First question: if the benefits of using the WBS are so evident, why isn't it a common project practice? And this question was asked directly from the forum. You have to know that this is one of the questions that was after the reading, the exercise, and you had the opportunity to answer in the forum, and I have chosen to tell you and to comment on the best answers that we found. So one of the best answers that we found for this question, if the benefits of using the WBS are so evident, why isn't it a common project practice? First good answer that we found, and thank you again for this answer. The first answer is, one reason why the WBS is not commonly seen or used in projects is probably because of a lack of knowledge about this tool and because of time constraint, which is true. It is true that the WBS has not been a tool that is widely known. However, now it's starting to get recognition. And the part of the answer about the time constraint is also real. It takes time to think, and it takes a lot of team effort to go to the details and transform the project objectives into different levels up until you get to the work packages. However, this effort will pay well in the end because as it is said in the PM4R manual, the WBS will serve as an everyday tool for the team. So the more detailed the WBS is, you have a good tool in your hands. You have a very efficient tool in your hand so that you know exactly in detail the scope of the project. And on those details, you can put the duration of the deliverables and the cost of the deliverables. Another answer that we found for this same question, this answer is a lack of coaching as how to do it even after training is what really causes this issue. Is what really caused the issue of the fact that the WBS is not common practice. This is also true, as a little bit of practice is needed. And with coaching, the project manager or the sponsor might be needing to encourage the team to use this tool. Meaning that if you're working on a project and you're the project manager, not only you have to take some time with the team in order to detail the different deliverables and establish a WBS, but you also need to encourage the use of this tool. You have to encourage the team members to use the tool. Now we have one other answer for this question. And the answer says, a lot of people don't see the value of planning. They want to jump right into things because action is very visible, is a very visible sign of progress, and a way to signal that you are doing your job. Going through the difficult work of planning, gathering feedback, etc., is not often valued by organizations and appears to be a waste of time in the experience of the participant. I think that it's also true in a certain way. In a certain way, it's also true because sometimes they would want the project to be right going. But it's also very important to take the time to plan, and in order to have a good tool and a good WBS. Thank you. So now we will go and see the second question. Question 2. Why is it important to include the project team in the preparation of the WBS? And this is a question that was from the forum as well. Integrating the project team in the preparation of the WBS is among the best decisions for the success of project management. More often than not, people find themselves in conducting activities and wonder why they are conducting the activities. So this answer that we found, okay, from Fred Nelly, thank you, Fred Nelly, is so important. Has so much value because sometimes you might be in a team and you just taking orders, let's say, and there's no participation. You're just taking orders from the project manager or from the sponsor, and you don't know why. You don't know why they doing this action or that action. You don't know why the work is broken down in this and that deliverables. So it's very important that you have this information as a project team member, and the best way to have that information and to understand what it entails is by participating in the establishment of the WBS. So to finish this answer, having an all-inclusive preparation of the WBS will help in knowing why such activities are conducted and what will be the ultimate goal. Yes, Fred Nelly, thank you so much. In fact, with a more inclusive approach, the team will take ownership of the project. Not only it is good for them because they will have a more thorough knowledge of the project, but also this definitely will boost morale of the team. And you know, the morale of the team is so important. If you remember on the first Experts on Air session, where Menno was talking about the stages of a project team in order to get to team cohesiveness, forming, storming, norming, and performing. So the 4 stages. So yes, in the forming stage, the time that they spend in figuring out the WBS is very important and will play into the team cohesiveness. Now we can go to the next question. So next question, question 3. Why is the WBS not always common or popular? Well, this question is a question from the technical forum. Okay. So what happens is that, well, first thing, the question is a little bit similar to the first one, as you can see, but it's in a different perspective. So we judged that it was very important that we go through it. The benefits of the WBS are in fact evident, as it gives a more detailed view of the scope of the project, and therefore it will facilitate the estimation of time, the estimation of the cost of the project, but also the assignment of responsibilities. But the WBS might not be common project practice because sometimes of lack of knowledge about how useful that it can be, but also because of the time that it would take to be realized, which can be an excuse for the team planning the project, and they will want to jump straight into doing a project schedule. And to make a case for the WBS, let me explain to you in a little bit of detail the benefits of the WBS. And then we will be able to go to the next question. So I'm sorry, because I see that there's the slide for the next question. Can you please go back can you please go back to the slide for question 3, please? Okay, thank you. So far, the team just noticed me that so far there is one live question. So remember that you will be able to post live questions as I speak on the link that is on the course to post the live questions. Okay, so let us go quickly to the benefits of the WBS. I'm going to list the benefits of the WBS. First thing, it gives you clarity on the project needs in terms of deliverables and success criteria. Second thing, it organizes the project scope and puts a defined decomposing structure around it. Third benefit, it gives you more simplicity and breakup of activity to be performed during each hierarchical decomposed level. Fourth benefit, it successfully subdivides the scope into manageable components. 5, it's a structured diagram portraying the listing of overall project requirements. 6, it aids into assigning the responsibilities. 7, it helps in resource allocation. And 8, it helps in monitoring and controlling the project. So now we can go to question 4. So the question 4 is, in your experience, what is a best practice for getting the team on a WBS and or project management schedule? It seems that it would be easy to leave off a small but important consideration or engage on a massive, time-consuming group effort. How do you practically manage excellent product development efficiency? Okay. As I told you earlier, it is very important in a project to take the time to do the exercise of a WBS. The more time you take, the more detailed it will be, and the more the benefits that I've said earlier will be, you will be able to see them. Having a good WBS is the big difference between a ballpoint estimating and a detailed estimate. So the more time you take to do the WBS, and the more time you take in doing this team exercise, you will be able to have a more detailed estimate. And before all, you have to know too that the WBS is the best activity, one of the best activities for team building. The process of creating the WBS should be considered as a team building activity. For projects of normal size, for example, a WBS cannot be created by one team member. It needs various team members to take up each high-level requirement within the given scope, to discuss about it with others in the team, and then each lead team members need to come up with activity work package breakup details related to that specific requirement. So for example, the slide right now, you see the best method that we use for that is the method of the cards on the wall. Okay, it's very common in IDB projects where we use stickers or post-its where we write names of each components of the project, each products, deliverables, and also work packages. Okay, as you can see. So we write and we link each of them and we kind of put them in each level where they should be. Okay, and after we take the time to do the work breakdown structure, those same post-its can be rearranged in order to do the network diagram that we will show you a little later, a couple of slides down. So right now you see this example of cards on the wall. Okay, and you see that this project has 5 different components. So it's broken down into 5 different components. Let's say that you would have a team of 15 members. So you would separate the team into 5 different teams of 3 people in order to figure out and break down the components into deliverables, products, and work packages. So this is an example of a cards of the wall method in order to do a WBS. So we can go to the next slide where you can see the same thing, but for another project, another real project from the IDB, where this project was separated, was broken down into 4 components, and then the next level, the level with the pink post-its, you see the deliverables, and then in the blue post-its, you see the work packages or the products of the project. And then we can go to the next one. In the next one, you see that the deliverables are rearranged, and when they are rearranged, not only you able to rearrange them so to define the critical path, but you have to see that on each pink post-its, they added 2 small ones. In those 2 small ones, one post-it for the duration of the deliverable, and another one will be for the cost of the deliverable. So as I told you, when you do the work breakdown structure, you are able to not only put a duration to each of the deliverable, to put a cost, but also to assign a responsibility. Before we go on the next slide, I'm telling you again that you are able to post live questions on the link that we just gave you, that we gave you on the course. So you will be able to, I invite you to post your live questions. Okay? So now we're going to the question number 5. Question number 5 by Mauricio. Yes. Once we find the critical path, and because it is done in the early stages of project planning and design, is it advisable to add some amount of additional time in order to deal with potential delays in project implementation? If so, what is the better methodology to use? That is a great question. That is an awesome question. Because in the book, in the PM4R book, you saw that with the critical path method, you will estimate the minimum project duration and determine the amount of scheduling flexibility and determine the logical network path in the project, in the schedule. Okay? But when you're doing that, you will account for the late start date and the early finish date for each deliverable or for each activity. You want, but you don't really take some time to know that there might be some unknowns. There might be some events that might happen that you don't really have control on, and that might have an incidence on the project duration. So in the PMBOK guide, so in the project management body of knowledge guide in chapter 6, which talks about time management, they tell you that the best thing to do in that case is to take account of the reserve analysis. The reserve analysis will estimate, will include contingency reserves, and sometimes it is referred to as time reserves or buffers. And it will, so the reserve analysis will put those contingency reserves in the duration of the project. Therefore, contingency reserves, they are the estimated duration within the schedule baseline, which is allocated for identified risks that are accepted and for which contingent or mitigation responses are developed. Okay? The contingency reserve may be a percentage of the estimated activity duration or a fixed number of work periods, or may be developed by using quantitative analysis methods. Contingency reserves may be separated from individual activities and aggregated into buffers. So it means that after accounting from the contingency reserves, the critical path is changed into a critical chain. So the critical chain method is a schedule method that will allow the project team to place buffers on any project schedule path to account for either limited resources or considering the effects of resource allocation, resource optimization, resource leveling, and activity duration uncertainty. So it's to account the uncertainty. Go to the next slide. You will see an example of a critical chain where there are the activities, but they also account for the buffers. Okay, so in the chain of activities, they put buffers that they call feeding buffers. So the feeding buffers are buffers that are between two activities. Okay, and then at the end of the project, buffer, so it's another time duration that is called the project buffer. And the project buffer is here to protect the final date of the duration of the project. Buffer, at least you know that you have this margin. So this is known as one of the best methodology in order to take into account the project delays that might appear. Now we have 20 minutes remaining, and we have 3 live questions. So you still invited to post your live questions. Now we can go through to questions. Question number 6. Okay. Question number 6 that was posted by Stella and that had 5 votes. Can you give us an example from a real development project of a start to finish type of dependency in a network chart. Okay, this dependency, I gotta tell you, this is a hard question. Okay, it's a hard question because this dependency is very rare and it is hardly used in practice. However, me and Menno, when we were working on this presentation, we tried our best to give you um, uh, an answer that you could understand, but you have to know that this is a very rare occurrence. Okay, so before we start answering the question, what is a start to finish type of dependency? The start to finish type of dependency means that activity B will not end if activity A doesn't start. So for activity B to end, activity A needs to start. So let's get one example to clarify this answer. Let's say that, think about how you would implement a new system and turn an old system off. So there are two systems, so you're implementing a new one, and then you have to turn the old one off. You can complete, for example, you can turn off the old system as soon as the new system has started in production, but not before then. Okay, so it means that the old system was there before, of course, but normally, when the new system comes into fruition, so the old system has to turn off. But the thing is, the old system, you can't turn it off before the new system starts. So I can give you a second example. It's an example of building a new gas pipeline. You would first finish construction and implementation of new pipeline before you would begin shutting down and breaking down the old pipeline. Similarly, implementation of a new accounting system, for example, has to be completed before you begin turning off the old system. As I told you, we took some time to look and get the right answer for this question. But you have to know that a start to finish dependency is a very rare dependency. Okay, so now we can go to question 7. Question 7 is a long question, but we have the answer, so we're going to try to give you the best answer that we can. So it's a question from the technical forum. Okay, so thank you for posting your question on the technical forum. So I got to tell you, although the questions for experts on air, well, we provide you a link to post them, but sometimes if there are questions in the general forum or in the technical forum that you guys haven't really come up with answers, we can, by the best of our ability, take them and answer them in the live session. So you guys are lucky. So let's go. Sometimes answers to questions are not very clear from the readings in the specific video. I found that there is more than one correct answer. For example, question 7. The steps that should be taken to develop the project schedule are: determine the sequence of activities, estimate the duration of the activities, draw up the schedule. However, what about the other option of estimation of resources required, which is also one of the steps required? Okay. The question is, should I therefore assume that that you guys in ITB are looking for the best answer and not the answer that we are looking for the best answer, Okay, and I remember very well this activity where you had you have answer B and answer C, and answer B was determine the sequence of activities, estimate. Well, so that was answer C. What that was the right answer. Determine the sequence of activities, estimate the duration of the activities, and draw up the schedule. Whereas question B was determining um, the activities themselves, determine the sequence, and then draw up the schedule. You have to know that there are three major constraints in project management. The first constraint is the time or duration. The second constraint is the cost. And the third constraint is the objective. Okay? And in the answer where you had determine the activities, then determine the sequence, and then draw up the schedule, you didn't have this activity that is right in the middle that has to do with estimating the duration. If you do not estimate the duration, you won't really be able to set up a right schedule, because schedule is before everything. Schedule is about time, is about the duration of the activity. So it's very important. So the reason why it was, in fact, because it was the best answer. That question B was the wrong answer, but it didn't have that specific detail about estimating the duration of the activity. Okay, now we are done with the questions that you guys posted before the live session. I have to tell you, because they were really nice questions, and that you understand and everything is clear. So now we can go through the live questions. Okay. Now question number one: how does poor procurement planning impact the management of a project? Okay. First thing, we are not into the procurement chapter yet, but of course it is important. It is very important to do planning. It is important to do planning in general for a project. Procurement planning has to do with all the three constraints. First, it has to do with the duration of activity. A bad procurement planning will have a direct impact to the duration of activities. It is the difference between an activity that would be completed very fast and an activity that would take very long to complete. And therefore, if you have a bad procurement planning, you might not be able to procure the goods that you want or to procure, and therefore you would probably need to redo the whole process of procurement. So it will definitely influence the duration constraint of the project. Second thing, planning can also have an effect on the cost of the project. If there's a bad procurement, it means that you will be able to pay for the duration. Okay, for example, let's say that a project, you need to rent a building, or you need to rent some materials. So if the procurement planning is not done well, therefore you might be spending more money in certain aspects of the project, and therefore the project will cost more than it should cost. And third, planning can have an effect on the scope of the project. Because let's say that you're ordering chairs, and normally it should be wooden chairs, and then with a bad procurement planning, you ordered metal chairs. It means that you did not do a procurement that respects the scope of the project. So therefore, bad procurement planning can have some very considerable negative impacts on a project. So let's go to question 2, live question. Is there any strategy to integrate the team to the process of WBS? For example, group discussion. Okay. In the Inter-American Development Bank, we have something that we call the kickoff workshops. The kickoff workshops generally have the team, the project team, and sometimes some of the main stakeholders. So in the kickoff workshop, stakeholders are put together. We put all of them together, and we go through the documents, the different project documents, and among them the WBS. So we can take half a day in order, depending on the scope of the project, in order to yes. So when you when there are different people that are together to discuss, there are different methods, of course. In the kickoff workshop, have the group discussions. We can have brainstorming activities. Nevertheless, you have to know that the WBS, as I told earlier, is one of the best methods for team building. Workshop is definitely that you have to take account as a strategy to integrate the team to the process of WBS. Okay, so now we have question 3. And question 3, it is definitely an excellent methodology. Time to plan, of course it does, but it can be beneficial to the team. So what can be argued to the client or the bosses when the projects go with limited time and often the beginning is already delayed? What can be argued to the client or the boss when the projects go with limited time and often beginning is already delayed? Okay, so I guess that the question is about the benefits of the WBS, right? So if this question is about the benefits of the WBS, I think that I need to read a little bit one of to read for you a little bit to make the case for the WBS. Okay, so if I really want to make a case for the WBS, as I told you, okay, if I want to make a case for the WBS, first thing, it gives clarity on the project needs. Second thing, it organizes the project scope. Is more simplicity for it successfully divides the scope into manageable components. 5, it is a structured diagram portraying the listing of overall project requirements. 6, the WBS will aid in assigning responsibilities, as I told you. 7, it will help in resource allocation. 8, it will help in monitoring and controlling the project. Okay, so I hope that you are satisfied by the answers. But there is a fourth question. And the question 4 is about, wait a minute, because it was just loaded. Okay, can you give for 3-point technique? There is a version from the video and explanation. So there's a discrepancy between what is said in the video and the explanation in Unit 2. So PERT. So it's a program estimation technique that is widely used in knowing the estimations, the durations of the project, of an activity in a project, but also you can use PERT also in the estimation of the cost of the project. You will see that a little later. But for PERT, the answer is duration of an activity is first the optimistic duration that you have. Okay, the most probable, 4 times the most probable duration, plus the pessimistic duration, and of that divided by 6. So how do you get to PERT? How do you get to an optimistic duration? How do you know that a duration is optimistic? How do you know that a duration is pessimistic? They tell you that when you are doing the estimation of the duration of a product, there are 3 ways that you can find the duration. Either you do an expert opinion, meaning that you will go and consult experts that have already worked in similar projects, and then they will tell you exactly what might be a duration, an optimistic duration, for example, of an activity. The second way that you can find a duration, that you can figure out a duration, is analogous estimate. Is going to the archives, going through project, okay, and to the lessons learned register, for example, and see projects that were similar, how long the duration was. And then the third is parametric estimating, where you will adapt through a unit on the project, and then you will do a multiplication. Okay, so when you have all those durations, in a way to have a more precise, you will use the PERT method. So I think that was it for the for today. First thing, you have to know that you can use the link to the next module in order to post questions that we will be able to answer in the live session. And second thing, too, you have to know that the next live session is on March 13. But about the time of the next session, there's a little issue, because the time will change. So you have normally the live session starts at 11:30 Washington DC time, but starting this weekend, if it's 11:30 now, it will 12:30. So we had 1 hour. So you have to definitely schedule with the daylight saving change. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having taken the time to participate in the live session of Experts on Air. You will find a link on the course for this video session, and also you can also find it on YouTube. Thank you so much, and have a good day, and see you on March 13th.